We will do a few lines which we did last time and then continue. Beauty unimaginable, moved heaven bare, absolved from boundaries into vast of dream. The cry of the birds of wonder call from the sky to the deathless people of the shoreless light, deathless people of the shoreless light. Well, that is the glory part of life, and you have got the birds of wonder in the sky, and the cry is reaching the deathless people for the shores of light, all the way up to the supramental region, you see. Now, this line, next line, creation leaped straight from the hands of God. Marvel and rapture wandered in the ways. Well, obviously, when the creation is leaping straight from the hands of God, there are bound to be marvel and rapture, and they will move around everywhere in all the directions, you see, marvel and rapture. Now, creation leaps straight from the hands of God. That is definitely an allusion to Athena's birth. Athena's birth was straight from the head of Zeus. Straight from the head of Zeus, you see, straight. Athena's birth. In other words, she was born with all his wisdom directly here in this creation. She is the wisdom of God, she is the goddess of wisdom, and she is also a warrior goddess, Athena. So I think that is a definite allusion to that mythological aspect of Greek description, you see. Creation leaped from the hands of God. Obviously, when it is coming straight from the hands of God, it is bound to be perfect. There is no intermediary to do something else than what God wants to be done, you see, in that sense, you see. So, this creation, this life, now here of course, the creation stands essentially, specifically for life, because the entire description is for life. It's not the entire universe as a creation, but here the word creation has a sort of a connotational sense belonging to life, you see. Naturally, therefore, beauty and unimaginable, marvel, moved, heaven bare, you see, because it is living straight from the hands of God. Now, there is the corresponding Roman mythology. Minerva came straight from the hands of Apollo. Whereas in the Greek mythology, it is Athena who came straight from the head of Zeus, you see. Here, it is hands of God. Of course, the poet could have also said from the head of God. But then there is a difference between the head of God and the hand of God. They are not the same thing. Head of God means the idea of God, the conception of God, the notion of things that should be there in the mind of God. It is that which should have come projected here. When it is coming from hands of God, it means there is an action, God's own action in this creation. So the word hands is very significant in that sense, that this creation, this life here is in a field of action here. And that action is coming straight from God directly, you see, in that sense. Only to be was the supreme delight. Life was the happy laughter of the soul, and joy was king with love for minister. So minister is serving joy. Here, minister is serving joy. See. Only to be was the supreme delight. Yeah, just be there, and that itself is a happiness, that itself is a joy. You see. Life is a happy laughter of the soul. Soul of whose soul? Soul of this creation. Soul of this creation. I would call it soul of creation, you see. Life was a happy laughter of the soul. And see the alliteration between life was a happy laughter of the soul, L, see, is flowing in a very liquid manner. Life was talking, a hap, and he laughed, I am, pirik, and then am. See. That is how the line is. Life was a happy laughter of the soul, and joy was king with love for minister. You see. All this is meant for joy only. Joy is the king, he is the master. In fact, whatever happens here in this creation, it is because of the joy, bliss, ananda. Ananda is the creator of this world. And ananda it is what who is giving rise to all these things you see. And joy, the spirit's luminousness was embodied there. Now, it is the embodiment of the spirit itself in life. Spirit himself has taken the body of life. Spirit has taken here the body of life. It is not the material body, you say, it is the body of life the Spirit has taken. The Spirit's luminousness was embodied there. Life's contraries were lovers or natural friends. And her extremes keen edges of harmony. Indulgence with a tender purity came, and now the God on her material presence. There none was weak. No, so falsehood could not live. None was weak, so false could not be. Well, what this line means is, if you are strong, if you are powerful, if you have got tremendous force in you, then there cannot be falsehood at all. There cannot be falsehood at all, you see. That is what this line means, you see, basically. You can also see the other way around. So falsehood could not be. In other words, when falsehood is there, then you cannot be strong. You will be always weak. If falsehood is present, you are bound to be weak. That will not be there, see. There none was weak, so falsehood could not live. Ignorance was a thin shade protecting light. Imagination, the free will of truth. The intellect was beauty's worshipper. Intellect was beauty's worshipper. This is very rare in our world. See, beauty and reasoning mind, they normally don't go together. See, thing may look beautiful, then you start analyzing, you are cutting, you are dissecting. A flower is very beautiful. You don't simply admire that thing. You start dissecting it, analyzing it, put the laboratory tests and that thing. See. But here in this world of life, it's a different thing, you see. Intellect was beauty's worshipper. Strength was the slave of calm spiritual law. Strength, calm spiritual law. Power laid its head upon the breast of bliss. There was summit glory inconceivable. Autonomies of wisdom, still self-rule. And high dependencies of a virgin sun, illumined theocracies of seeing soul, thrown into power of the transcending dream. So these are the glorious parts of life, you see. There was summit, glories, inconceivable. You cannot even imagine it all. Human mind, human capabilities, human potential, human cognition is not able to understand them at all. Autonomies of wisdom, still self-rule. Autonomy, well, where wisdom is the monarch, is the full ruler, complete control, you see. And high dependencies of virgin sun. Dependencies, promises, dominions, or what you want to call them, you see. Illumined theocracies of the seeing soul. Illumined theocracy. It never happens in our world. Our theocracies are rigid, are dogmatic, are frozen, are cruel also. But here, the theocracy means theocracy in the sense of worship to God, worship to deity, worship to higher powers of the spirit. In that sense, theocracy, innovative theocracy of the seeing soul, thrown in the power of the transcendence ray. So this is in the upper world throne one. A vision of grandeur, a dream of magnitude in sun-bright kingdoms, moved with regal light, so with regal gain. Assemblies, crowded senates to the god, lies fusions his reign on seas of marble will. On seas of marble will. Lies fusions his reign on seas of marble will. High dominations and autocracies, high dominations and autocracies, and the ruler, autocracies, and laurel strength and armed imperative mind. All objects there were great and beautiful. Well, this is the continuation of the same description of the glories of life, of the bright aspects of life. All objects there were great and beautiful. All beings wore a royal stamp of power. All beings, well, they have got a kind of a royalty, purple robe and power in their hand. All beings wore the royal stamp of power. Well, of course, when it says all beings, these beings belonging to the world of life, realm. Essentially, beings here would stand not everybody, those who belong to the world of life. There are beings of mind, there are beings on the physical, there are beings of life, there are higher beings like that. So here, beings also to be understood in the contextual sense. You see, all beings wore a royal stamp of power. They are static oligarchies of natural law. So there are groups of people and they are governing the whole thing. Oligarchies of natural law. They are not designed by mental reasoning or by human understanding of things. Proud, violet heads served one calm monarch brow. All the soul's postures dawned divinity. Well, that is again the same continuation of the glories of life, you see. There met the ardent mutual intimacy of mastery's joy and the joy of servitude, both opposites. Mastery's joy and joy of servitude. You are serving with a very joyous kind of a heart, you see, which is very rare. But then when you love a person, when you love a deity, then definitely it is like that, you see. Joy of servitude imposed by love, and love's heart that obeys and love's body has beneath a rapturous yoke that holds, and also it takes the position of yoke also. All was a game of meeting kinglinesses. So everything is royal, glorious, triumphant. For worship lifts the worshipper's bowed strength. Yes, you are worshipping, you are bowing down to God, you are prostrating at His feet, but then it is in that process that you are getting lifted up also. You see, God Himself lifts you up. For worship lifts the worshipper's bowed strength, clothes the God's pride and bliss His soul adore. God's pride and bliss, these are the things which are adored by the soul, and it is to that the worshipper's head is lifted by worship. You see, the ruler there is one with all he rules. Absolutely monosyllabic line practically, except the ruler here. The ruler there is one with all he rules. You see. To him who serves the free and equal hand, obedience is his princely training school. Obedience is nobility's coronet and privilege. You put a coronet and then that is a privilege both. You see that you are a part of that thing. You see, his faith is a high nature's idiom. High nature's idiom. That is how the nature would speak that thing. His service is spiritual sovereignty. His service is spiritual. Yeah, that is the royalty. You see, when person is serving the mother, I see it is that which gives you kind of power, greatness, loftiness, which is what you get. You are serving sincerely, but then that elevates you also to a different level. You see, this service is spiritual sovereignty.